Good morning, meet or night. My name is Jet, and welcome to my channel, JITV, Jet in the Valley. So this one's going to be, I haven't touched base in a long time, but it's going to be on cult, C-U-L-T, hopping, what I call cult hopping. So many people, they grew up in a church, right? And so these churches, many of them are structured. Let me start this way. The only freedom that there is in the nature of reality, what causes freedom, okay, is to love God, and love other people as yourself. That creates freedom. It lifts the bondage of anti-love and worry and stress and all of these things. It lifts it up off of you, and you have freedom to love God, love other people as yourself. So, and that's every other people as your own self. Love each other. Love. God is love, okay? He came here in the form of Jesus Christ to prove that he is love. So, if you're doing anything other than that, it is a cult. Cults like control. That's many reasons why they have them. They'll be a cult leader, per se. So, like one person, and he's in charge and has the authority and has power, so-called power, over the whole congregation of people. So, and people will willingly give their energy to a cult leader like this, right? And they will basically get nothing in exchange. They're basically just giving him all of the energy, because a cult leader is like a parasite that sucks your energy and doesn't ever give anything back. Just like when a swarm of locusts or caterpillars come in on crops, they eat it until it's all gone. They don't sow seeds and plant more food. All they do is use everything. That's what cult leaders do. So if you're not loving God, loving love, and loving other people as yourself, it is a type of a cult. All of it. All of it. All of the, I could read a list off of all these different groups and theories and all of these things. So what a cult will do is they will like some things and like some people, but they will literally hate other people. So God came here in the form of Jesus Christ to tell us. He said, before Jesus came, he said, I tell you to hate people, right? But now that Jesus Christ has come, he says to love each other. And even your enemies, if they're hungry, to feed them. If they're thirsty, to give them drink. Because not because, this is not why we do it, but doing that, loving your enemy, these anti-love people that are selfish, loving them causes them pain and suffering. It's like dumping hot coals on their head. They hate it because they are not like that. And they see the power of love, the true power of love, which is the Most High God. That is where love comes from. God is love. There's no exaggeration on that, no other explanation. So a cult, so many people, they grow up in a church, right? And I can see people's testimonies and different things. And people get their kids in and tell them all of these different things that these little kids shouldn't know. These little kids, so basically, there's a difference in teaching your child about love and the Most High God, and to love God, and love other people, right? And teaching them propaganda and indoctrinating them with things that you can use later in their life, that anybody can use on your children to puppet them and to make them do what somebody else wants them to do. Okay, so if you teach children that it's okay to hate some people, right? Or so I'm going to try and keep this one short. People who grow up in so-called churches, if they're not teaching to love God, love other people, that's what Jesus Christ said, then they are not teaching the truth of the nature of reality. We don't allow ourselves to be beat up and taken advantage of. At the same time, all of the things, everything, Jesus was the example, and we need to be being like Jesus. And if you're not being like Jesus or telling people that you need to, then it's not telling the truth of the nature of reality. So many people, they get indoctrinated with fear. They call it fear of the Lord, right? There's a healthy fear. I used to tell my sister this, right? That is what they call, this is the fear that you have of like what your parent thinks about you. You love your parent, you have a bond with them. Now, if you make a mistake, you're going to care about what your parent thinks because you love your parent and you respect them. Okay? That is what the fear of the Lord should be. It's called reverential fear because you love them, you care about them, you care about what opinion they have of the things that you do, right? But Jesus Christ came here to show all the things that God approves of. So we don't have to guess anymore. We know exactly. It's love. Anything loving is God, and God will support that and will encourage that and will bless your life with joy, peace, contentment, will prosper you if you are a love-based living individual. So many people grew up in a church that did not teach that taught fear as a control mechanism, or there were perverts, or there were actual forms of word curses and witchcraft happening in the churches, or they were teaching New Age about chakras and different things. They were teaching about astral projection. They were teaching about mind reading, clairvoyance, communicating with the dead, or whatever. All of those things go against what Jesus Christ said. We're not supposed to do any of those things. Okay, there's gifts, there's spiritual gifts that we all are given in a measure, but all of those things that I just stated are not anything that we're supposed to be doing. Okay, so many times they'll say that they're Christian or whatever, teaching about Jesus, and then they're teaching opposite. They're teaching New Age. They're teaching all these different things that aren't love God, love other people as yourself. So if you grow up in this environment, they'll teach you it's okay to hate people. So if they say, oh, it's okay to hate Muslims, okay, because they don't know. They do all these things, this, that, and the other. It's okay to hate them. Well, where does that stop? Where does it stop with being okay to hate other people, right? It's just going to cross and control, and it's going to cross borders and lines, and you're going to think that it's acceptable to hate people when it's not acceptable to hate people. You're supposed to love them, and there's many reasons that we're supposed to love them. So I'd like to do a video on that soon. Why it says to love them as you love yourself, right? Because when you love someone like you love yourself, when they're telling you things that you know are lies and that are false, your heart is open because you really want to help them. You really, if you're not treating them like someone you love and they're saying all of these lies, then you want to say, shut up, that's not true, you idiot, or whatever kind of thing. But if you're treating someone else like you love them, and you feel bad for them that they don't know the truth of the nature of reality. They don't know that God loves them. They don't know that God created them with a purpose, knew you before you were in your mother's womb. They don't know anything. And they're out here all by themselves, lonely or self-righteous or proud or whatever. Not everybody's a victim. Some people are the aggressors, and they're harder to love sometimes. But we still have to do it because that's what God said to do. We have to practice that. And if you practice that with these people that you would call oppressors or narcissists, right, you start to see how weak they actually are. You see the weakness in them, and you feel bad because they're not strong. So they may have a big mouth and be acting tough and all this, that, and the other, but they're actually very, very, very vulnerable to what other humans think about them. Their persona matters very, very much to them. And they are being manipulated through that persona because they care about what man thinks about them. Okay, so there's many ways we can work on this, but cult hopping. You grew up in the church, so-called church. They teach these things, how it happens. You get a little older, you start thinking about things, and you realize you're in a cult. You realize this is not right. What these people have taught me is not right, and it's not okay, right? So you get out, and you know that was wrong, and you're peeking around for other stuff to do, right? And you get in with some other people that don't do that. But these other people, now they say it's okay to hate people who call themselves Christians, okay? And you were in there, and you were a Christian, right? And you know that what they're doing is wrong and bad. So now you join the opposite side, and you start having hate for the people who you used to be part of, and you have no compassion and no empathy, and you don't treat them, you don't love them as yourself and try to help them come to the truth. You hate them, and you think you have every right to hate them. No one has any right to hate people. No one has any, you have a right, that's not the right word, but when you hate, it causes problems within your own self. It causes you problems. If you love, then you don't have the same problems as when you hate. When you hate, it's bad. Hate is bad. It's anti-love. So when you hate, it's taking away from your peace. You don't have the peace when you hate. So even if nobody's around or whatever, this is what is happening. It's a balance. So the more anti-love you do, let me show. So here's your love, here's your anti-love, right? The more anti-love you do, the less love you have. But the more love you do, the less anti-love you have. It's like filling a glass, right? It's the exact same thing. So if you choose to do more loving, then the anti-love goes away. But if you choose to do the anti-love stuff, then your love goes away. It's you understand what I'm trying to say. So if we want love and we want peace and joy and all of those things, then we have to not do the anti-love, and we can't hate. We can't cult hop. People hop here to here to here to here to here to here to here their whole life, and what they do is they cycle through. Well, these people were wrong, and these people are wrong, and these people are wrong, and these people are wrong, you know. And they may never, ever, ever come to the truth. They may never understand that. There's a verse that says, these silly laden women that are always, they are looking for the truth, but they never find it, right? It's not a derogatory thing toward women. That's sometimes just what gets used to describe the church. The church is usually explained as a woman. So, the only way to stop this cycle of cult hopping is to recognize everything is a cult except for loving love, loving God, and loving other people. That is the only freedom that there is in earth. So if you do the anti-love stuff and you hate people, you are going further and further and further toward death. Okay? Because all sin, all anti-love, it leads to death. The more love you do, the more you're going toward life. So do you want life or do you want death? We're in earth. There's no escaping. We're here. So you either choose to do the loving stuff and get life, put your hands to work and do the work and do what's right and be a love-based living individual and be selfless. Okay, you have the freedom to do this, or you can continue to hate and judge and all these different things and get further and further and further toward death, literally toward death. So we're always moving toward life or toward death. It's not possible to stay center. Every single day, those are your options. You want life or you want death. And people don't put it out there like that, but that is the exact nature of what it is. So stop cult hopping. Stop thinking that somebody else is going to have the solution. Somebody else is going to know better. There's nobody else that's going to know better. People are just grouped in people, and they care about what each other think, and they care about what people think, and that's why they're doing the things that they do. What I'm saying is to love God, love, and love other people, and you don't have to care what humans think anymore. You don't have to care. You can care what broken humans think, or you can care what God thinks. Those are the two options. I'd rather care what God thinks, who is loving and came here in the form of Christ, that you can read about and check out and see how loving it actually was. Okay, I'd rather care about that opinion than any human's opinion. Okay, because it's a no question situation. So with that, I'm gonna call it good. And much love, many thanks, and thank you. Love you.